Speaking of underdogs, again, I always have an issue with the historians of metal or extreme underground or whatever they call themselves. I hate the fact that Excel is never truly recognized for what you've created and what you had accomplished way back then. And here you are now, where you yourself said it, the integrity, the sincerity, and also you've been the underdogs. Now, I'm not going to get into a negativity because Excel's always been positive. Positivity's always been in your messages, in your music, and also because I think you do acknowledge and you did touch base with your fans back then. We all had issues, whether it was in our home or whatever, where you reached out and gave out that positive environment. But being the underdogs, you've had a history of being sabotaged. Let's go back to 1991. An LA Times article by writer Steve Hotchman wrote an article called "It's No Joke." Now, you've always been a gentleman and you've always been very graceful. You've carried yourself in a very healthy, mentally healthy, positive way, whereas if it was me, I'd be talking shit and screaming my head off. But this article was based on the fact that at that time, Metallica had released their Black Album, which, if you're real, we had all tuned out by then. And Enter Sandman had a similar, I gotta watch what I say because of the litigators. It was very borderline similar to a tune that you had on The Joke's on You, which was the tapping into the emotional void. Am I correct on that?
That's absolutely correct, which was also in Santa Cruz's skateboard video Risk It that was copyrighted and documented in 1990. Excel's Tapping Emotional Void was 1989. And so, so the song was a standout song already on The Joke's on You. And yet, we did start to hear that familiar riff, that came out, and
And you never sued.
Well, no, it's the thing was
copyright infringement.
Well, the thing was is that so, as mentioned before, the thing was is that the plan that was taken when I was actually I was told in advance that they were going to ask for a comment from me, and our management under the time was asking me to play it really diplomatic, only because there was actually this naive idea that thinking that maybe Metallica would take us out on tour with
it wasn't really naive, because amongst the underground at that time there was rumors that you would be going on tour, like in an opening slot, whether it be local here in Los Angeles or what have you.
Well, and like I said, that was something, because we want, even if it was like I said, even if Metallica would take us on tour, we wanted to earn our own merits, we didn't want a free handout.
But 1991, you had already established your legacy.
We have,
as a matter of fact, let me say this, because number one, you won't say it even if you wanted to, but you won't. It's not part of your character. Since 1984, for those of you that are familiar with Chaotic Noise and Excel, the 84, the 85 demo are classics. They're timeless. They're untouchable, which obviously, almost 40 years later, you're still playing them today to a bunch of kids that love the shit.
Yeah, absolutely. But if I may go back real quick on the earlier part about Metallica and stuff,
we're not done with
I know KJ Doughton, who wrote the unauthorized biography called Unbound. He was Metallica's fan club president. Where if you look on the Megaforce releases, it was the Sonic Decapitation fan club, which was in Beaverton, Oregon, which was actually KJ Doughton's parents' address. And because Metallica got so successful, this gentleman by the name of Ron Botwell, who was a merchandise dude, who worked with Kiss and all these other people, he acquired the merchandising rights for Slayer, Anthrax, Raven, and Metallica. And he hired KJ Doughton to come to Malibu, where he stayed in an Airstreamer on Pacific Coast Highway behind a satellite dish shop. And in fact, how I found out about this dude and this place was that this dude at Venom at the Hollywood Palladium, with Slayer and Exodus, had a Jump in the Fire shirt, which I had just seen the summer before in Germany. where my mom is from, and so I was in Germany. I saw this Killer Jump in the Fire Cyclops Demon shirt, and I go, "Hey, dude, where'd you get that Metallica shirt?"
Because at that time it was very rare to listen. The last time I talked to Tom Warrior, I bitched about how I mailed off my mail order in 1984 to get the Celtic shirt, and or the Celtic shirt, and I never received it. Very rare.
So this guy says, this place is called Ron Botwell Enterprises. You can find the phone number and address in the white pages, which is the telephone book. And so the
Does
white
that even exist?
Yeah, no, I don't know, but the white page.
not.
So I looked, and there it was, and I called the dude up, and he basically, like, I could tell he was going to just sell me some shirts from the back, and I actually became good friends with him. And then he then later invited me on his radio show. He had a show called it was, I think, The Hour of Madness.
Yeah, good memory.
Yeah, and KJ Doughton had me on a show to basically, because Maximum Rock and Roll magazine just put out a section that Pusshead wrote called it was called Speed Metal, and it had Metallica, Slayer, and Exodus, and so with that, KJ Doughton on his radio show asked me to come on to represent the punk demographic, and then he had Tom Araya, who brought the test pressing of Hell Awaits to represent metal, and I have it on cassette that hasn't been digitized of Tom Araya and myself basically doing a panel interview about where they would play like Metal Church that Terry Day produced and stuff, and I would play like Crucifix, you know what I mean? And we went back and forth and we talked about it. And this is like January of 1985, okay? And so what I'm trying to say is that Metallica and the people surrounding Metallica were already very conscious of Excel, including Ron Quintana, who came up with the name Metallica.
Course, yeah.
He used to play us religiously on KUSF. In fact, when he changed his magazine from Metallica, which he gave to the band, to Metal Mania, it would be like every couple months our in the top 10 of his playlist would show up on there.
And let's not leave out the person that influenced me and who I blatantly ripped off. Pat, the Atom Bomb from the final, Pat from the Final Countdown.
Absolutely, first.
So they were aware. Now my question is why didn't you pursue legal?
Basically, it's just, even in that time, it was just like a hectic amount of money to get in a retainer.
And remember, they were. I mean, they've been monsters, but at that time, that was at the height of their monsterdom.
Yeah, and of course, then when they got picked up by Q Prime Management, they were managed by the Rolling Stones and big heavy hitters like that, and so they were automatically protected.
So were you intimidated?
It was the thing was that there was just we just, like I said, we just came from like humble family. Like Sean's dad was a mechanic, my father was a landscaper. We didn't have funds to try to get any kind of litigation. We just had hope that somebody
throw you a bone.
Well, we hoped that an activist of some sort would come across, and then in 1993-94, the blessing that we thought came was in the form of Sean Parker from Napster, when his legal team reached out to us and were interested in hearing our story and called me into their office in Century City, which the attorney, who I don't remember his name, had an autographed Pittsburgh Steelers football that he took out of the case and kept throwing it to us back and forth because the quarterback that signed that ball lost the Super Bowl that year, and he doesn't respect losers. So this is the kind of shit that they would say to us. Okay, so
so this is out of the norm for Excel and how you grew up and what you believe.
But being enthusiastic and being coming from an honest, hardworking family, background, the naive part was that we thought everybody was going to do the right thing. And so when Sean Parker's legal team asked for information, I basically blew everything up like right there for them to see, and I learned from there with the power of disclosure, because it wasn't that long after I showed off all the information that Metallica and Napster came to an understanding, and then they went on MTV to grandstand their that they're working together to fucking to on artist rights and all this stuff, and basically never returned a phone call and slammed the door on us. And so I went to the Napster office in Century City, where the doors were locked. It had the cat logo, and I had posted a note on there that said, "Why have you forsaken us, Sean Parker?" Right? I put it on Instagram, on my Instagram, Venistan1313, back in 2010. like or 2009, and right when Instagram started. So, and basically, there's been just basically the thing is that we don't really think that we'll ever get any kind of like compensation, but it's just the fact that
why would you? They're not known for that.
And the thing is too, like it's not just a Metallica thing. There's other things in life that you have to deal with that just make you sometimes lose faith in the human, the race and whatnot and how things work. But during those times, I was given a quote that now has become my favorite quote from Dr. Martin Luther King, and that is, "A lie cannot live forever." And so, in hopes that, like I said, there'll be a time where I feel like the record will be like set straight. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, the 5150 gets it straight.
Yeah, and just so
it has to be said,
and just so that people don't think that like that this is just one-sided. I mean, put it this way: on the song "Never Denied," I specifically requested, like when we were writing that song, I said, well, we need to ride the lightning part. So there's on the Never Deny, it's totally ride the lightning. Now put it this way: if Excel went and sold millions of copies and Metallica went after us, then we would obviously surrender, like say, hey, that is ride the lightning. So whatever that piece of the pie, percentage of the pie that would go for the publishing for that riff would be gladly, because the millions that that one would receive, like you could give up a few of those too,
Right.
And that was like the thing that really got me, because the thing was that when Excel went to the Bay Area, and because of my friendship with KJ Doughton, I was once again naive and just dumb and young to the fact that when we played with Violence and Overkill at the Omni Theater, there was a bar, I think, or Ruthie's Inn, or not, it was at the Omni, and the thing was that Hetfield was at the back because they're friends with Overkill, and I came there like with the Jokes on You record, a T-shirt, and I was just there like say, hey, I'm friends with KJ, and he couldn't have been more of a dick to me. Wow. You know what I'm saying? And so
that's not surprising.
And so the thing is that and that was so the thing is, like, they had the personally given like the Jokes on You record, like I said, like years before the Black Album was written. Like I said, the Ron Quintana, the KJ Doughton thing, like those are just basically like I feel like are the smoking guns of being aware of it, But like I said, it's just like we didn't ever want it to be tagged as the band that had that Metallica took the riff from. I just think it's just funny if you just write Excel versus Metallica, like a lot of cool like stuff comes up.